on the tracks 35 hours after the catastrophic train crash in East China's Wenzhou City. The route is back in service. Calming fears, Hillary Clinton arrives in Hong Kong to reassure Asian markets as Washington scrambles to break the debt deadlock. And after the rains, we look at the harsh struggle facing the survivors of last year's floods in Pakistan. Hello and welcome to CCTV News. I'm Chang Jin in Beijing. Now, about 30 hours after the deadly train collision in Wenzhou, traffic on the rail route has returned to normal. The first train passed through the area early on Monday. Workers finished the repair work by 7 p.m. last night. 2 high-speed trains were canceled on Monday, while 2 others had to switch routes. Passengers are being advised to pay attention to the latest bullets in train stations. Now, Saturday's train collision in East China's Zhejiang province is believed to have killed at least 35 people. 190 others have been injured, and around 130 are still receiving treatment in various hospitals. Now, China's Ministry of Railways responded to the accident by holding a press conference on Sunday. Cui Linan has more.
Apologies have been offered, but the nation waits for answers. Following China's biggest ever high-speed rail accident, a spokesman for the ministry said those who made mistakes would be held accountable.
The train's black box has been sent for investigation. We will update you immediately when we have the results.
At around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday, bullet train D301 ran into the back of another stationary train on a bridge near Wenzhou. The first 4 carriages of the moving train fell off the viaduct. The last 2 carriages of the stationary train were derailed. The ministry's initial investigation suggested a malfunction caused by lightning could be behind the accident, but it's not yet clear why the D301 didn't stop in time to avoid the collision. Many have raised questions over the swift burial of some carriages at the site. The spokesman tried to address the concerns.
I've asked local officials why something as foolish as this could happen. When the world knows about it, why cover up the accident? They said they were not trying to cover it up. The area under the bridge is full of mud, and to speed up rescue efforts, they buried some carriages with soil. They say it was to assist the rescue operation. I don't know if you'll believe me on this or not. I believe it.
3 railway officials have already been sacked following the deadly collision, including the head of the Shanghai Railway Bureau. They all face further investigations. The ministry has ordered an urgent review of rail safety nationwide. Cui Linan, CCTV.
Now, for more on Saturday's train collision, we spoke earlier to CCTV reporter Feng Jinqiao, who is in Wenzhou. He gave us a review of Sunday night's press conference.
Well, I must say yesterday's press conference is really unusual in China and really tough for the spokesman of the Ministry of Railways. The spokesman offered his apology for the accident and the inconvenience that the railway department has caused, and he once again making sure that the safety of the high-speed railways. But the journalists fired a lot of questions on him. So I think this is really a lesson for the ministry as well as other departments of the government. But I want to emphasize 2 things. One is that the number of the death toll, the spokesman said the death toll is 35. That number, many journalists are saying are doubting the number is too low, but the spokesman explained this number doesn't include the missing people. Another thing is the compensation. The spokesman said the compensation number has not been fully finally set up, and they will carefully study the situation and make the final decision.
Now, Wenzhou number 23 Middle School has been converted into an information center following Saturday's deadly train collision. Information from local hospitals has been posted on the walls to help those desperately searching for injured loved ones. Part1 Monahan takes a closer look.
Searching for a name. Mr. Chun from Fuzhou still hasn't found the one he's looking for.
My uncle and nephew were on the train. Neither of them have been found yet.
Mr. Zhong from Rurian is also desperately searching through the lists.
I can't reach my brother on the phone. I've searched 5 to 6 hospitals, but still can't find him.
Some insurance companies have set up compensation consulting centers in the school. They're promising to compensate the victims' families if they're clients of the company. Other help has also been coming in. Local people are doing all they can to make life a little easier for those searching for relatives.
Whether or not this accident happened in Wenzhou or elsewhere, we will always try our best.
This information center will continue to operate over the coming days. It's offering at least a glimmer of hope to those yet to hear from their loved ones. Part1 Monahan, CCTV.
The many train crash victims have been putting on a strain on the hospitals around Wenzhou. So volunteers organized by governmental and non-governmental organizations are now pitching in to help treat the injured. Yang Wei-han has more.
Miss Lin is a teacher at the kindergarten in a county that is a 3-hour drive from Wenzhou. Soon after she learned of the tragedy on Weibo, China's most popular online social network, Miss Lin rushed to the Wenzhou's 3rd People's Hospital. After going through a basic training on how to use medical equipment, she's now taking care of a man seriously injured in the train crash.
I heard the news about the crash from Weibo. I really want to do something for those people.
Miss Lin is one of 500 volunteers now working at the hospital to help treat the train victims. Also among them is Mr. Shi, a head of a local company. He rushed to the crash site soon after the accident happened to help rescue the injured survivors and transport them to hospitals. He even mobilized his relatives and friends to offer help.
Now many people realize that Wenzhou is a city of integrity. The residents are enthusiastic in helping others. The city had a negative image of being too material, but we are beyond that. We have shown our kindness.
More volunteers are pouring into hospitals around Wenzhou. They are working around the clock to do everything they can, including medical treatment, counseling, and helping maintain order in hospitals. Local officials are calling for more help via text messaging, online social networks, radio, and TV. Yang Wei-han, CCTV.
The Intermediate People's Court in the city of Jiaozhou in China's central Henan province has convened on the case of a chemically tainted meat. The first stage of the hearing will be open to the public. 5 people are accused of endangering public security by manufacturing and distributing clenbuterol, a poisonous fat-burning chemical that boosts levels of lean meat. The indictment states that the 5 were aware of the dangers to health, but were involved in the chemical's distribution to 8 provincial regions. The scandal was exposed by the media in March this year. Still to come on CCTV News, calming fears. Hillary Clinton arrives in Hong Kong to reassure Asian markets as Washington scrambles to break the dead deadlock. And after the rains, we look at the harsh struggle of the survivors of last year's flood in Pakistan. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has reassured Asian nations that the impasse over the U.S. debt ceiling will be solved. She also said the country's long-term fiscal outlook will improve. During a speech to business leaders in Hong Kong on Monday, Clinton said balancing the global economic order required changes from both the U.S. and Asia. Clinton arrived in Hong Kong's Special Administrative Region Sunday night and is due to visit the Chinese mainland city of Shenzhen before flying back to the U.S. U.S. lawmakers have failed to achieve a budget breakthrough, highlighting the prospects for catastrophic U.S. debt default. With time running out, Republicans and Democratic lawmakers split into opposite camps and held talks among themselves. There were no signs of a deal emerging to head off a potential default that could trigger global economic calamity and a downgrade of America's AAA rating. U.S. lawmakers missed a self-imposed deadline of producing a deficit reduction deal by the time Asian markets open, but plan to outline a proposal on Monday, local time. Details have emerged of an incident prior to the massacre at a Norwegian youth camp on Friday. Witnesses say a volunteer at the camp was shot dead as she tried to warn security guards about the suspect when he arrived on the island. The volunteer, Monica Bose, is said to have been on the ferry along with suspect Anders Behring Breivik, who was dressed as a policeman. She apparently questioned him and became suspicious. When the ferry arrived at the island, Bose approached the security guard to raise the alarm. However, Breivik then shot and killed both her and the guard before continuing his rampage. Eyewitnesses say Bose's actions may have prevented an even greater tragedy. Hundreds of people continue to gather in front of Oslo Cathedral on Sunday night to pay tribute to the 93 victims of Friday's bomb attack and island shooting spree. A memorial service was held earlier in the day at the cathedral for those who died in the attacks. King Harald V and his wife Queen Sonja and Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg were among the mourners at the service. They also visited the site of Friday's bomb blast and met staff at a local hospital.
We have been shocked by the violence. We have been shocked by all the people that have lost their lives. But at the same time, Norway is united, Norway is standing together, and the message is very clear that this violence is not going to reduce our ability to be an open, democratic society.
The investigation into Friday's bomb blast and shooting continues. The twin attacks on Norway's government headquarters and an island retreat for young people on Friday left 93 people dead and more than 90 wounded. Norwegian police say 32-year-old Anders Behring Breivik has admitted he carried out the attacks. Su Ting has the details.
According to both police and his lawyer, Breivik has confessed to the twin attacks, but he denied criminal responsibility. He had not yet given any reason for the attacks. Breivik has been charged with terrorism and will appear in court on Monday. If convicted on the terrorism charges, he would face a maximum of 21 years in jail. The suspect said he was acting alone, but the truth of his version is still unknown. A group called the New Knights Templar has been allegedly linked to the suspect in the attacks. Norwegian police said on Sunday a British police expert was aiding a probe into the attacks.
We have a good contact person, and it's about the forensic part of the investigation. He's not working with it, but we have contact with him, and we asked. Well, he's ready to act if we want him to act, but at the moment he's not actually working together with us, but that's more like an advisor or something.
He also said Norwegian police were sending out information via Interpol. Concerning the situation in the Oslo city centre, police said they will take over more from the military and will slow down on this part of the operation. Su Ting, CCTV.
The Syrian cabinet has approved the drafting of a law to create a multi-party political system within the country's constitution. Such a move will allow political pluralism in Syria, which has been ruled by the Ba'ath Party for 40 years. The draft law includes the principles and the terms of how political parties are formed and how they function. The Syrian constitution currently appoints only the Ba'ath Party to govern the country. A complete revision of the constitution has topped the demands of protesters since unrest broke out in mid-March. Many in the country have been calling for more freedom and widespread political reforms. Around 2,000 mourners have attended the funeral of the Iranian nuclear scientist who was shot dead on Saturday. Dariush Rezai, a 35-year-old university lecturer, was reportedly shot outside his home in Tehran by a gunman on a motorbike. An official from Iran's Interior Ministry has denied that Rezai was a nuclear scientist, but it has not been officially confirmed whether or not he was in some way linked to Iran's nuclear program. Several nuclear scientists have been assassinated in Iran in recent years. Iranian officials have accused the United States and Israel of being involved in the assassinations. Over in Somalia, famine victims are flooding into the capital, Mogadishu.